Welcome to Baby Boomer Tales. My name is Jim. Thank you for joining me on our last episode of 2023. Remember when, during the turn of the century, 24 years ago, everyone said, it's year 2000. And then 2008 came and we said, it's 2008. Now we say it's 2008 or it's 2023. I have not heard anyone say it's 2023. Have you? It's now 2023, kind of like 1963, that kind of deal. So it will be 2024 before we know it. You may even be listening to this episode in 2024.
Housekeeping.
In the Christmas episode last week, I was talking about Christmas traditions around the world. And I said in England they called cookies crackers or something like that. And you couldn't have cookies and milk for Santa because crackers and milk didn't sound right or something.
Right. You called cookies crackers.
Well, like I do so often, I just say whatever pops right into my head without doing a little research on it. And I knew that they called cookies, our cousins from England, they called what we call cookies something different. And I came up with crackers. Crackers. Actually, they call cookies biscuits. Now, when I think of biscuits, it's biscuits and gravy, but not Uncle Albert over in England. So we're so sorry, Uncle.
Uncle Albert?
Anyway, I wanted to set that straight because I do respect different traditions from around the world, and I botched that. But, I botch a lot of things. But I have my housekeeping segment of my episodes where I can try to set all that straight. And I have the munchies here that, all after me, telling me how terrible of a person I am because I screwed something up.
Jim, you should do your homework better. Yeah.
It's okay, munchies. You try doing this without screwing something up. Now for the top 10 55 years ago. That's the top 10 popular songs this week in 1968. Number 10, Cloud 9, The Temptations. Number 9, I Love How You Love Me, Bobby Vinton. Number 8, Who's Making Love, Johnny Taylor. Number 7, I'm Gonna Make You Love Me, Diana Ross and the Supremes with The Temptations. Number 6, Abraham, Martin and John, Dion. Number 5, by the Classics 4, Stormy. Number 4, by Glenn Campbell, Wichita Lineman. Number 3, Love Child, Diana Ross and the Supremes. Number 2, For Once in My Life, Stevie Wonder. And the number 1 song this last week in 1968, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, Marvin Gaye. Our unusual fact this week, a person typically breathes out of only one nostril at a time. Amazing, huh? Apparently our system, our body, protects itself, and so instead of wearing one nostril out, probably drying it out, it alternates. So you may breathe out of your left nostril for 3 or 4 times, and then out of your right nostril 4 or 5 times, then your left twice. You're not even aware or conscious that you are doing it. Our body is an amazing, amazing, amazing thing. Usually on the last episode of the year, I like to do some lists, the top 10 movies of 1960, the top songs in a certain decade, things like that. Whenever I do a list of something, it turns into a lot of work. It's a lot more work than sitting down telling a story. But the stories are, I feel, the whole heart and soul of this podcast, and they have turned into the harder thing to figure out, even though it's the easier thing to record. I do have a little list here, though, a couple. Since it's New Year's, people are starting to make resolutions. You ever make a New Year's resolution? Now, I have stopped doing that, but doing this segment of the podcast has got me thinking, and I'm going to try to address that here in a minute. I Googled New Year's resolutions, of course, and I found the top New Year's resolutions for 2024, and I want to go over these real quickly. The number one, stop smoking. I honestly thought that a very, very small percentage of the population still smoked. You know, you see them standing outside of the restaurant, maybe back in the alley, some of the workers. There's no smoking in public buildings anymore. I just don't see it that much. Don't see that many people smoking in their car as I'm sitting at a stop sign or something. But that is the number one resolution of 2024. Number two, learn a new skill. Number three, make more time for hobbies. I don't know what their idea of a hobby is. I guess if my hobby was playing golf, and if I had a hobby, if I didn't live out here where I'm always working, my hobby would be golf, and that would be easy. Make more time to play golf. Whatever your hobby is, that is a resolution. Number four, improve work-life balance. So between work and not being at work, whatever, family or whatever, this is hard for me because I'm not working anymore besides this podcast and all that's associated with it. And so I do all this at home. And I know a lot of people now work from home after the great lockdown of 2020. But there has to be a balance. You cannot be just a workaholic and forget your wife and kids. You can't do that, or you will pay the consequences, be it children are strangers to you or you're a stranger to them. Your wife and you do not have any common ground you stand on because you're operating in two different worlds, whatever. So you have to have that balance there. We all have to work sometime in our life, and we all have to have that time away from work. So that's a good one, I think. Number five, travel more. And that means more than just down to the donut store. Number six, drink less alcohol. I think this is on the list every year. And then New Year's Eve, they go out and tie one on. Alcohol is a perfect thing of too much of a good thing is bad. I'm not saying alcohol is a good thing or a bad thing, but in moderation, almost nothing is bad. But if you overdo it, things can be quite detrimental to you, and alcohol really can be very detrimental. So drink less alcohol. Number seven, and this was all they had on this one list, perform better at work. Okay, well, you have to balance work and life, but you have to perform better at work. Probably if you balanced your work life, you would perform better at work. The Pioneer Woman, y'all know who she is? She's out of Pawhuska, Oklahoma. She has a cooking show, and it just is more than a cooking show anymore. But her show is great, and if you go to Pawhuska, she's instrumental in bringing that town back, opening new businesses. She has a restaurant there, owns a hotel, and they own a huge cattle ranch outside of Pawhuska. And we were fortunate enough to be eating at the restaurant one time. It's a destination place, and got tickets to go to the television studio that is out on her ranch. So it's quite fascinating, it really is. And we have a lot of that Pioneer Woman cookware and stuff. My favorite one, the butter dish. I use it daily. The other stuff, I don't know, my wife's in charge of that stuff. But anyway, I'm giving you her top 10 New Year's resolutions for 2024. Number one, buy house plants. Number two, start a book club. Now, I can't relate with this, but I like books. Number three, call your parents or your grandparents. Well, I have neither one of those, but I am both of those. And I do like it when my children or my grandchildren call me. Though it is a challenge because of my hearing, it blesses my heart. And I know that someone that is more alone than me, that has to be something that they sit and look forward to. Hopefully someone calls. Number 4, improve work-life balance. Same as the other list here. Number 5, prep your meals for a week. Sounds like a true professional cook to me, doesn't it? But it's a good idea to have a plan. You should have a plan when you go to the grocery store. What you're wanting to eat, have a list. Don't go to the store without a list, and try not to stray from that list too much. Number 6, and this is important. I feel this is so important. Make your bed every day. You may be one of those that do not think that that's important, but it helps you in so many ways. It's unreal. Make your bed. Number 7, organize your pantry. Goes right along with the prep your meals for a week as far as I'm concerned. We have a pantry down in our storage room, and we call it the grocery store. And it is turning into one, I'll tell you that. I'm always organizing it, making sure the old stuff is towards the front and new stuff's at the back. I'm probably into it way too much. I've taken it to a whole nother level. It kind of looks like one of those food pantries for a church or a nonprofit, where people could come in and get some food. That's what my pantry is starting to look like. Number 8, plan a weekly date night. If you have a mate, a best friend, this is important. It's really important. I find that we stick around the house more and more as we get older. But this used to be a prerequisite for us, and it's still a wonderful thing when we do go out. If it's not any more than just to go get a hamburger, or if we go to a movie or something, it's important to spend that time with the one you love the most, doing something out of the ordinary. Number 9, take a class. This is the way I got into, and the path that started me towards being a CFO, is taking an accounting class. Accounting was not on my radar when I was younger. Although I always liked numbers, I thought it was just like sports numbers. But taking that accounting class and seeing myself in that changed the course of my life. It literally did. And number 10, this is one I'm 100% for 100% of the time. Perform a daily act of kindness. I have things I could make resolutions for if I was of the mind to. I feel that you should make resolutions daily and not just yearly. You ever hear that old saying, resolutions are made to be broken? If you do it daily, you're less likely to have that attitude. I'm going to lose some weight. You say that on January 1st or December 31st, and by the 3rd week in January, you've already broken it. Going to drink less. We addressed that a little earlier, and you go out to a party, and you have one too many, and you act kind of stupid. Maybe you have to get an Uber home. Whatever. A resolution should be whenever you see yourself in an area that you are shortcoming on, set your heart and set a goal to be better. You catch yourself gossiping about somebody, stop right there and set your goal that I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to gossip. When you have 2 hamburgers and a piece of pie for dinner, stop and set a goal that I don't need that much food. I don't even feel good after that much food. Maybe I'll start cutting my desserts to every once in a while and make them a treat. And for goodness sakes, I don't need 2 hamburgers. When you want to get angry at somebody, stop yourself and set a goal that I'm not going to be quick to fly off and get mad at somebody over something that doesn't even warrant that. I always talk about being kind, just like what the pioneer woman said. But it's better to be kind than to be rude, to be crude, to be vindictive, It's nicer to be a person with a smile than a person with a scowl. It's better to just bite your tongue than to say, "I told you so." It's much better to hold your temper than to dissolve a friendship of many, many years. So don't just make a resolution at the end of the year knowing you'll break it before a month is out. You're just spitting into the wind. Resolve to be better with every breath you take and every day that you awake, around everyone and everything that you come in contact with. You'll be glad you did. So wake up each and every day with a grateful heart and always be kind. I'll be back next Wednesday. It'll be 2024. Happy New Year. My hope for you all is a safe and prosperous New Year. Peace out.